And number 10, Princess Diana. In the first episode that was revealed to viewers, Harry would go on to compare Meghan to Princess Diana. Harry would go on to say so much of what Meghan is so similar to his mom. She has the same compassion and she has the same empathy. She has the same confidence, she shares this warmth about her, and the episode would feature footage that was shown of William and Harry playing at a piano, and interview footage where you could see Diana talking about her two sons. While Harry goes on to say that the only thing he could remember about his childhood was that it was filled with laughter, happiness, and adventure, he would also mention that he didn't have any early memories of his mom, and it was almost like he internally sort of blocked him out, but all he could remember is her cheeky laugh and that she was always telling him that he could get into some trouble, but he had to be careful that he didn't get caught doing it. While Diana passed away, Harry was just 12 years old, and all the memories he could recall of his mother was being swarmed by the paparazzi, and that his advice was that he was given by the family to deal with the paparazzi was not to react and not to give into it. And number 9, the curtsy. In the second episode, Harry would describe how Meghan was when meeting the Queen for the first time. He described it as being a shock to the system. With the Queen being the first member of the royal family to meet Meghan, Harry waited until the absolute last moment to let Meghan know that she would be meeting the Queen. When the pair were in the car going to the royal lodge for lunch, Harry would last minute tell Meghan that his grandmother was here and that they would be going to meet her in the church. Harry would then ask Meghan if she knew how to curtsy, and Meghan at the time thought it was a joke, but I mean, it's the Queen of England, and in every fairy tale movie ever made, it's always taught us that when presented in front of the royal family, you need to bow or curtsy. With Harry trying to explain it was a pretty hard thing to explain to an American how to curtsy, Meghan would go on to try to compare the curtsy to something from medieval times, and she even did a reenactment on how she curtsied in front of the Queen on the camera. While Meghan went on to describe the meeting with the Queen and not understanding the whole curtsy thing, viewers definitely noticed that Harry was looking a little uncomfortable about the whole thing. Hey Peaches, are you enjoying this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. At number 8, comparing Diana to Meghan. When we all saw Harry compare the paparazzi following Diana to an online harassment faced by his wife Meghan, I don't think any of us really had any sympathy towards the two royals, as they both chose to get married and they understood what could come with it. The telling of episode 2 revealed a huge bombshell moment when Harry said, "To see another woman I love going through this feeding frenzy, it's hard." Harry would tell us all how Meghan has been repeatedly targeted by the media and how their relationship basically became hunter versus prey. However, when he tried to compare Meghan to Diana by saying, "Back when my mom was harassed by the paparazzi, physical harassment and cameras in your face, people chasing you, paparazzi still harasses people, but now the harassment exists more online." I think we can all agree that the harassment Meghan has received from the media is nothing like the harassment Diana faced. I get it, once the photographs came out, the media was out to get another story. While Meghan has gone through a huge feeding frenzy with the media, so has every other royal family member. However, considering that the two hired media to capture certain aspects, especially with their son, it's hard to say whether the two are telling the truth or not when it comes to the media. And number 7, the effects media had on Meghan. In the 4th episode release, Meghan would discuss that she was having thoughts that made her debate on her own life, and she blamed these thoughts on the negative headlines the media was releasing on her shortly after the couple got married and announced that she was pregnant. Meghan would then note that all of the headlines would have stopped if she'd just not been there. And the scariest thing was that there was so much clear thinking that her mind was already set over the headlines, and it just made it really toxic for her. Even Meghan's mother would recall having this emotional conversation where Meghan expressed her dark thoughts to her, and her mom would say, "That's not an easy one for a mom to hear, and I can't protect her, and Harry can't protect her." Harry would go on to say that he was devastated by the toll the negative press coverage took on his wife, and he said he didn't deal with it well. Harry would even say, "I had been trained to worry more about what people are going to think, and looking back at it now, I hate myself for it. What she needed from me was so much more than I could give." However, with both having to deal with negative media attention before they even got together, it's hard to say if it was the royal family coverage that actually led to Meghan's dark thoughts. At number 6, fight with the media. In the 5th episode, it would begin with the couple's continuing war with the news media and efforts to dodge the paparazzi while spending Christmas away from the royal family in 2019. And to no surprise, in the final episode's release, we would learn that even more footage was manipulated to make them look like the victims. The headline at the Times were appealing about Meghan and appeared to be pretty harsh as they ended up pushing the couple to their breaking point. Meghan would then recall, at this time, this is when she realized that she wasn't just being thrown to the wolves, she was actually being fed to them. The couple would go go on to describe that they started to create a plan that they hope would bring them both to safety and give them both peace of mind. Harry would say that the toll was visible and it was having an emotional toll on both of them, but especially his wife. He would say, "We're going to have to change this for our own sake." And then they would describe that they made plans to relocate to New Zealand, South Africa, before they ultimately settled on Canada, and then made the decision to later move to California. Harry would then note that his grandmother was aware he and Meghan were having difficulties with their public roles and made plans to discuss it early January 2020 when he returned briefly to Britain. However, those plans would be thrown to the side and they would block Harry from seeing the Queen. However, what the royal family was really doing here was stopping Harry from seeing his grandmother altogether. And number 5, the miscarriage. In July of 2020, amid a long-running legal battle against the Daily Mail, Meghan would say she suffered a miscarriage. The couple would then go on to discuss the loss of the child in episode 6. Harry would go on to blame the palace essentially for the miscarriage, and he would even state that it's because they essentially sold stories to the press about Meghan. Harry would say, "I believe my wife suffered a miscarriage because of what the Mail did. I watched the whole thing." And Meghan claimed that the newspapers violated her privacy by pushing details from her life and that they were publishing details from a private letter she sent her estranged father back in 2018. With Harry saying, "Now do we absolutely know the miscarriage was created caused by that? Of course we don't." With noting that the legal battle led to stress and loss of sleep, I can say from what I saw, the miscarriage was created by what they were trying to do to her. The couple would then go on to have 2 beautiful children, and when the Daily Mail was asked to make a comment on the articles that they were publishing about Meghan, they would refuse to request to comment, but that hasn't stopped them from posting some pretty nasty things about Meghan. And number 4, Tyler Perry's friendship. It seems like the only one who wanted to save Meghan and Harry wouldn't be the palace, and it would actually be Tyler Perry's friendship that was the couple's saving grace. In the final episode, film director Tyler Perry would appear and recount how he reached out to Meghan for the first time in a long time before the couple's wedding back in 2018. Perry said he felt really bad about her struggles and just wanted to be there for her. Just days before the wedding, Harry would send her a note that said he was praying for her and he just wanted her to move on and hold on to her strength. He would then go on to let her know that everything she's been through in her life prepared her for this moment, or that's what he thought. With Meghan being a wreck, she would later reach out to Perry in early 2020 when she and Harry moved to Canada. She found it easier to open up to someone who knew nothing about the moment. Tyler would then recall the fear he heard in Meghan's voice drew similarities to Princess Diana's struggle with the news media. Tyler would even go on to help the couple relocate to a home he owned in Beverly Hills as they were desperate to just stay anywhere, and that they found his house a bliss until the paparazzi found them 6 weeks later. And number 2, Archie has an American accent. As part of the Netflix program, it would show Archie speaking to Harry and Meghan with an American accent. In the first 3 episodes shown of the Bombshell docuseries, it would offer the world an insight into Meghan and Harry's family life in California, and it would show us glimpses of Archie and also some images of their 18-month-old daughter, with some of these images and footages revealing Archie's favorite song is Benny and the Jets by Elton John. In episode 2, there would be a longer clip of Archie looking at hummingbirds with his parents. Archie, who is shown at the bottom of the frame in the video, is chatting with his parents, and in the clip he could be heard chatting to them with an American accent. With both parents doing everything they could to make the world a better place for their 2 children, it has become equally as important for the 2 of them to make sure that they didn't make the same mistakes that their parents made with them. And at number 1 today, we have the parents' divorce. When Harry decided to share information about his parents' divorce, he would share with all of us that he was pulled from one place to another, and it was actually quite damaging on him. Speaking in episode 2 about the divorce, Harry would say, "I think most kids who are the product of divorced parents have a lot in common no matter what's your background. Being pulled from one place to another, or maybe your parents are competitive and you're no longer just in one place that you want to be in. You're in another place less than you want to be in, and there's all sorts of pieces to that." Meghan would also recall her impact that separation of her parents had on her as she was a child, as she would have to vent her frustrations through a school assignment when she was just 12 years old. Meghan even wrote a poem that she would share with the documentary. 2 houses, 2 homes, 2 kitchen, 2 phones. 2 couches where I lay, 2 places that I stay. Moving here and there, from Monday to Friday, I'm everywhere. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad, but oftentimes it makes me sad. I want to live that nuclear life with a happy dad and loving wife, a picket fence, a shaggy dog, a fireplace with a burning log. But it's not real, it's just a dream. I cannot cry or even scream. So I sit here with cat number 3. Life would be easy if there were 2 of me. With both understanding the pain divorce can leave behind on a child, it's probably why the couple connected so well on their first date. And number 10, how Harry proposed. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's Netflix documentary definitely has a lot of fans raging over multiple lies shown within seconds of the first episode. Viewers have pointed out that there's been a lot of problems with the pair's tale on how Prince Harry proposed. In the documentary, Harry would explain that he wanted to propose earlier, however, he had to ask his grandmother for permission and he couldn't do it outside of the UK. Detailing the proposal, he would explain that he brought Meghan into the middle of the walled garden that was overlooked by the staff flat. To prepare for the area, he got on his knees and he got 15 electric candles and placed them around the garden. He also had Meghan's beagle Guy flown in just for the special occasion. He would then have Meghan close her eyes and tell her not to peek just before Meghan even called her friend and whispered that she thought he was actually going to propose to her. Then a series of photos would be shown of the special moment, which showed Harry on one knee holding a ring box in one hand as the dog sat next to him. Meghan then said he was down on one knee and I was like, yes, we were so joyful and excited, we thought we're doing this. However, the proposal totally contradicted the past version they told the press in 2017, as Harry claimed that he proposed to the Duchess in the kitchen on a standard typical night in their cottage. However, even by the third episode, Meghan would even admit that their engagement was rehearsed for the press. At number 9, we have ex-girlfriend cut out of a photo. Since Netflix released the first 3 episodes of the Duke and Duchess documentary series, Harry and Meghan's fans have been analyzing every single photo and video shown. However, the fans noticed something really weird about one of the photos. While some of the manipulations of photos were small, it's clear that the couple were trying to look vulnerable, and the photos and videos were planted to help them achieve sympathy from the public. With the couple trying to say that they had already been hounded by the public, a photo of younger Harry would be shown, and in the photo you could see that he has his hands covering his face from the paparazzi cameras. Although it looks like in the photo that the prince is completely on his own, thanks to some good cropping, fans would point out that they've seen this photo before, as the photo initially also featured Harry's ex-girlfriend Chelsea Davy. Now, the photo in question was taken in September of 2007 at Heathrow Airport, and while the photo is cropped, it featured Harry with a protective arm around Chelsea, who was walking by his side, despite the original picture showing Harry with his ex-partner. It makes us wonder why Netflix producers cropped Chelsea out of the frame entirely. Hey Peaches, are you enjoying this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And number 7, the first date. According to both Harry and Meghan, the first date was at 76 Dean Street, which is the location of Soho House in London. Meghan would explain that she was really nervous and sort of panicking because Harry was late and she couldn't understand why he was late. With the Duchess worried about Harry being one of those guys with an ego who makes women sit around waiting, when he arrived she could see that he was genuinely embarrassed for being late. Meghan would also describe Harry as being fun, refreshing, and that she would note that they are pretty much like children together, and considering they walked away from royal duties, we could all agree we saw that they were children together before they even told us. The couple's first date lasted an hour, and then they had a good chat before leaving. And later on that evening, Meghan would even call him to ask him to go out for dinner with her before she had to leave the next day, and they had dinner at the same place they had their first date the next night. The couple then showed us a never before seen photo of the date where you can see Meghan snuggling into Harry's arm, and this was the exact moment Harry would notice that this woman was amazing and everything he was looking for, as Meghan met everything he was looking for on his extensive list. And number 6, Halloween with Eugene and Jack. With Meghan and Harry trying to explain that there was a hierarchy when it came to the royal family, and that it was hard fitting in with the royals, when the couple shared never before seen photos as they partied with Princess Eugene and Jack's Brooksbank on Halloween in their new Netflix documentary, the two would reveal that they both went out in Halloween costumes with Harry's cousins and her then boyfriend for a final night out before their relationship was revealed on Ellen. In the first episode of the series, the couple would go on to share their night out with a couple of snaps that showed us how fun the royal couple was having as they were all crowded together to gather a couple of snaps. Not everyone in the family asked the couple out, and some did enjoy actually hanging out with them. While all the snaps showed us the playful side of the royal family could have behind closed doors, it also showed us how not all the British family lived behind closed doors with a certain formality, and that not all Brits found it pretty jarring to hug. While the couple snuck out in Halloween costumes to have one final night out before the world came to know that they were a couple, they definitely had a wild night out in their bizarre costumes. And number 5, Harry on Meg exit day. In the opening scenes of the documentary, Harry is shown at Heathrow Airport by himself in March of 2020. This footage would come after the Meg exit crisis as he prepared to leave the UK for the last time as a senior royal. Harry would then say, "This is about duty and service, and I feel as though being a part of this family is my duty to uncover this exploitation of bribery that happens within our media." The cameras would then cut to Meghan by herself in Vancouver wearing a towel on her head saying, "Unfortunately, in us standing for something, they are destroying us." With the few dated clips, it suggests that the couple were already thinking about telling their story before they even exited from the royal family. Now, there's always been reports that the couple were going to play and exploit their royal status early on, and that the fact they clearly wanted to use some of this footage at some point. The couple's knowledge of the royal family essentially ended when they left the country and the institution, but that hasn't stopped them from trying to dig up more information to make their truth come to life. Number 4, Buckingham Palace. With the series beginning with a written statement on a black background saying it is a first-hand account on Harry and Meghan's story being told with never before seen personal archives. We would later come to know that a lot of the footage and photos were manipulated to make their stories seem stronger than they already were. However, it would go on to say that in all the interviews, they were finished by August of 2022, and the members of the royal family declined to comment on the content within the series, which makes sense because they have been worried for months about how all this information could be very damaging to the family's overall image. Harry's father, King Charles, his brother, Prince William, along with their wives, Camilla and Kate, are not expected to watch the series. However, royal aides will be tasked with closely monitoring the output and dissecting all the images and footage known so they can consider if it's even worth to respond to and initially figure out how the family should respond to Harry and Meghan's claims. With the king and the royal family carrying on with their royal duties as normal, the palace sources have come out to deny all the claims made against the family in the Netflix series. With the royal family not expected to issue a formal statement on the show, the family now braces down as they wait for the final episodes of the series to be released. And we're all wondering what other lies and revelations might soon be exposed. And number 3, Donald Trump's ex-lawyer. So now that the first 3 episodes of Harry's and Meghan's long-awaited Netflix documentary has finally been released, it has come under fire for using a lot of misleading videos and pictures. Also, let's not forget a lot of people even stopped watching the series 11 minutes in because they were super sick of all the BS stories that it was giving. One short clip that was meant to highlight the couple's continuous relationship with the media is actually a stock photo of Donald Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, getting into a vehicle to be transported to prison on May 6, 2019. In the footage shown in the trailer, you could see the cameras around the limo before it cut to a very tearful Meghan. However, experts would then point out that Meghan wasn't actually in the vehicle. Meghan and Harry are clearly impatient, and instead of trying to gather strong evidence to support their claims, they would try to manipulate footage to put blame on the royal family, and that just isn't right. And number 2, footage of Katie Price. While in the beginning of Harry's and Meghan's documentary, it definitely sparked fear among some of the royal family as they were scared to see what Harry and Meghan would come up with that would damage the image of the family. However, with a bunch of exposed lies, all this film did was make the public hate Harry and Meghan even more. I think a lot of us raised our eyebrows when we spotted footage which appears to have come from Katie Price's court appearance. While Katie hasn't made a full comment of the clip, she did share a screenshot of a news report revealing that the footage was used from her trial onto her Instagram story, revealing that she indeed did spot the footage. Viewers have had a lot of mixed responses to spotting the moment in the trailer, with some even asking Netflix why they use so much misleading images and clips to mislead the public. One user even said, "What the heck, Netflix? This enrages me that you're using so many fake images to stoke feelings. Shame on you." And at number 1 today, they're the only ones that know the truth. Now, if you watch the trailer or the 3 episodes, then you know throughout the whole thing the couple has been trying to claim that they are the only ones that that know their truth. However, their truth would definitely be exposed for the lies it was full of. After watching the 3 clips today, fans have already taken to the internet to start reviews, and a lot of them have been pretty sarcastic. When Harry and Meghan claim that there is a hierarchy of the family, a lot of us had a good chuckle. One user even wrote, "I love the part when after spending 39 years in the royal family, Harry realizes that there is a hierarchy." Netflix would also try to crop a photo of the royal family when they appeared on a balcony on Buckingham Palace. The photo was placed to look like Prince William and Kate Middleton were in the center of the photo. However, a newspaper noticed that the arrangement of the family that day is not as it seems, as it's actually Queen Elizabeth II that was in the center of the photo before it was cropped. In the aftermath of all these accusations, it's certain that the royal watchers will be closely dissecting and scrutinizing all of the footage to come, so more lies will definitely be released soon. However, the fact that Harry and Meghan were so determined to tell their truth that they were able to time travel to a Harry Potter premiere in 2011 and even be visited by Queen Mary in 1938, it was so courageous, and the fact that they thought they could use these facts to stand up to those that called them liars is truly concerning. Coming in at number 10 today, we have several options. It seems like at first Harry and Meghan actually didn't want to leave their royal duties behind completely. In the 5th episode, Meghan and Harry would recount that before they actually made the decision to leave the royal family, they actually had a number of family meetings to discuss their roles as working members of the royal family. Harry and Meghan would come up with several options that they would present, but they would soon quickly realize that no agreement would ever actually be reached. In one of the options, Harry and Meghan initially wanted to have their own jobs on the side while they were still continuing to work in support of the Queen. During a crunch family meeting, they would present this idea. However, after a serious debate, Harry would realize that it had become very clear very quickly that the goal of Meghan and Harry wanted to achieve was not up for discussion or debate. They were either going to have to leave the royal family to achieve other jobs outside the castle walls, or they were going to have to shut up, suck it up, and do what they were told while they continued to support the Queen. With the family having a certain way of doing things, everyone's mission, goal, and responsibility was to serve the institution, and nothing more than that. At number 9, we have William screams at Harry. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle piled fresh criticism on the British royals in the new episodes that they released on Netflix on Thursday. Harry would even go on to accuse his elder brother, Prince William, of screaming at him during a summit when Harry was trying to discuss his future with the royal family. While Harry recounted the details of the crisis summit held at the estate just 2 months before, he and Meghan decided to leave their royal duties behind. Harry would then attend the summit in hope of being able to give the palace several options that would allow him and Meghan to work other jobs while continuing to support the Queen. During the meeting, Harry would recount that his father was saying things that weren't true, and even Prince William would go on to scream at his brother. Harry would say in the documentary, "It was terrifying to have my brother scream and shout at me, and my father was saying things that simply just weren't true, and my grandmother quietly sat there and sort of took it all in." Now, Harry didn't exactly say what William was screaming at him for, but I can only imagine it wasn't nice considering the Queen just sat there and let it all happen. With neither Buckingham Palace, William's office, nor Kensington Palace refusing to comment, it's hard to say if Harry overstepped his boundaries and the family was just defending the Queen, or if the royal family was actually in the wrong here. Hey Peaches, are you enjoying this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming in at number 8, we have the Queen supportive of the couple's new life. While Harry and Meghan were debating about their life would look like if they were to actually leave the royal family altogether, Harry found the hardest part was the wedge it created between him and his family, especially the wedge it caused between him and his brother. While William chose the institution over his brother, I can only imagine how hard that was on Harry because siblings are the people you confide in the most. However, when the couple finally made the decision to leave the royal family, they found it shocking on how they were ridiculed by the family and they would just be cut out of the family altogether. In the beginning, the Queen even said she was supportive of the couple's new life. With the family blaming Meghan for the fact that they were leaving the family, Harry would say, "How predictable that a woman is to be blamed for the decision of a couple. In fact, it was my decision." With the Queen telling the press that she and her family were entirely supportive of Harry and Meghan's desire to create a new life as a young family and expressing her wish to resolve this matter in coming days, Harry and Meghan would tell us that actually wasn't the case and that the Queen lied to the press. And number 7, press intrusion. The issue with majority of the docu-series is that Meghan and Harry have claimed that there was a large amount of press intrusion. When it came to the couple, however, a lot of it was actually approved by themselves or their aides. However, if you watch the series, you can definitely agree that there was footage that was flipped to give different angles to make Meghan and Harry appear as victims that fell into the hands of the paparazzi. The whole series gives us an impression that photographers covertly snapped the family at all times. However, witnesses and staff have come out to say that most of these photographers had actually been granted official access in advance so they could capture some sweet photos of the family. With the use of phony photos, Harry and Meghan even tried to convince us that they were all blindsided by the media consistently, when that wasn't even the case. Even if it felt like press intrusion to the couple, even if it was approved by Netflix, they have declined to comment on suggestions that a lot of the footage was misleading. But it's definitely for sure that the couple was smart by making the documentary with Netflix, is because they weren't bound by UK's broadcast standard code, so they were allowed to use materials to mislead the audience. So with more episodes to still be released, we're definitely going to see a lot more manipulated stock images to illustrate the idea that the family was stalked by the paparazzi, which just isn't the case. And number 5, not knowing who Harry was. What hasn't changed is that Meghan is still claiming she had no idea who Prince Harry was. In the very first episodes, it explored the early days of Prince Harry and Meghan's relationship, and the couple would reveal that they met in July of 2016. When Meghan posted a picture with her friend, they would call Meghan and say, "Between you and I thought you might want to know that being newly single and all, I put our Snapchat on Instagram and Prince follows me. He called me last night and he wants to meet you. Might have to set you up." However, Meghan had no idea who the prince was before the day, and she's been claiming for a while now that she never did any research on the Queen or her relatives ahead of meeting Harry. However, it was definitely all a lie, because it's been proven that Meghan was actually obsessed with Princess Diana. She even had books about her, and she was already acquainted with one of the York girls through Soho House. So to say that she had no idea and knew nothing about the royals had to be one of the biggest lies Meghan told. And number 4, race claims. Now, this document definitely laid out some new allegations about Harry's family's disapproval of Meghan due to the color of her skin. However, a lot of people aren't buying her claims of racism, because in the beginning, let's face it, everyone loved Meghan, including the press, until it started to surface how Harry and Meghan were mean to castle staff and how they even made one secretary quit due to their rude behavior. And then the whole world, including the palace, started to turn on them. One expert, Angela Lavin, joined TMZ on Monday to break down the new trailer for Harry's and Meghan's new documentary, and she explained that the whole situation was just one giant BS story told from the Sussex's point of view to manipulate the world. Angela noted that she suspects that the couple keeps playing the racism card without pointing any fingers at anyone in the royal family, and without hard evidence, it's clear that it's all a lie. Harry has even said that there's been hierarchy of the family, and he claimed that they were always leaking stories about Meghan and him to support the family's ongoing conflict against Meghan. However, the real reason the family didn't approve of Meghan was because she was extremely rude to everyone, and there's even been clips posted by Daily Royal News where it showed Meghan being extremely rude to the Queen. And let's not forget all the staff leaking stories to the media about how they were treated by her. And number 3, the wedding. With the 4th episode kicking off, it was revealed that the couple's star-studded wedding in May of 2018 wasn't really for them, but it was for the public. However, it still managed to be a family affair. Although there was thousands of people hoping to catch a glimpse of the couple, Meghan and Harry would describe it as a family affair, with numerous personal touches that seemed to make all the difference. Harry even chose the song Meghan would end up walking down the aisle to, and Meghan actually found it really beautiful. It was also revealed that King Charles even helped the couple choose the orchestra for the ceremony. Since Meghan's father did not attend the ceremony due to Meghan's estrangement from her father, she even asked King Charles to walk her down the aisle by telling King Charles that she lost her dad and that she wanted him to walk him down the aisle. With Charles being her new father-in-law, she found this moment to be really important to her, and she wanted him to be the one to give her away. With Charles being really charming, he agreed, and it would give us a really sweet moment that Charles actually really cared for Meghan and Harry. And number 2, Meghan leaving the UK. The couple tried really hard to fit into their new roles. However, when Meghan started to struggle, so would Harry. With Meghan tearing up in an episode, she would say that she she tried really hard not to give in to the pressures of the media and to fit into her new role in the royal family, before she even thought about stepping back from her royal duties in January of 2020. While leaving England, Meghan would even claim that a man on her plane working for the plane's crew took off his hat and knelt next to her, and he shared his appreciation for everything she did for the country. Meghan would recall how that moment made her feel, and it actually ended up making her feel something for the first time. And it would end up being the first time someone saw the sacrifice she was making, not only for her country, but another country that was not hers. After the plane landed, Meghan would then collapse into the arms of one of the royal security guards who had been with the couple through everything, and all she could do was cry. When Meghan tried so hard not to cry and recalled saying things, she would go and he goes, "I know you did. I know you did, ma'am." And that's the piece that's so triggering, because you go and it still wasn't good enough and you still don't fit in. Well, not everybody ridiculed the couple like the media was. It was nice to see Meghan finally heard words of encouragement. However, I wish she would have known that not everybody in the country hated her before that moment. And number one, happily ever after? Now, this docu-series was filled with ups and downs, lies, and retold stories. We've learned secrets we thought we would never hear, and we have seen things manipulated to tell stronger stories. However, after more details about the private struggles were revealed, including the story about the miscarriage, in the final episodes, the couple would attempt to untangle the delicate strings surrounding Meghan's lengthy legal battle against the Daily Mail. And we would learn that she actually ended up winning her legal battle, with decisions coming down after the appeal courts rejected the Mail's bid to force a trial over her claim that it violated her privacy. In the final moments of the series, Harry would finally admit that he misses aspects of his former life. Leaving the palace caused him to lose friends, and the process of transitioning to the United States wasn't easy on him. Reflecting on the couple's experience, Harry would note that there's been times where he's been angry, however he can't be angry because he knows this is exactly where he's supposed to be.